Is Instacart still worth it in 2024?
Hell no.
So while we talk about is Instacart still worth it in 2024, I'm going to have a couple articles playing in the background. So please feel free to pause and read those articles because I think that they are very apropos to the subject matter for today. So the first article is just talking about exactly what I'm talking about, and that is the golden age of gig work has come and it has gone. Okay, the gold rush is over, sis. You missed it. All right. The second article is going to talk about tipping fatigue because everyone wants a tip these days. So let's start there. With Instacart, just to give you guys a little context, I've been working at Instacart or on Instacart since 2021, right? So around the tail end of the pandemic, I decided to flex my Instacart wings. Now, like many of you, I was working from home. I was working remotely. I was sick of being stuck inside. I felt like all I did was snack and then snack some more and then snack some more. And so your girl started to get really concerned about whether or not this waistline was going to start spreading like a rumor. And so I felt like it was time for me to get up and start moving. And so Instacart came into my life, right? And so I said to myself, okay, this is going to be a way for me to get out of this house, to move, and basically be paid to work out. So I signed up for Instacart, and things started off great. I was making on average about $75 to $100 per order. You heard me. About $75 to $100 per order. Now at this time, these were single batches. You would have one customer. I lived next door to a Sam's Club, so even while being at home, I could turn on the application, and I was still within that vicinity of Sam's Club, so that I would pick up those orders as the same people who were sitting in the parking lot would, because it was literally next door. So I would grab these orders all the time. No fuss, no hassle. If I had a break from work or if I had some downtime, and on occasion between me and you, I would sneak out while I was still working and go and grab those $75 or $100 because I wanted all the money and my work was already done. So who was I really hurting? So anyhow, I was doing those orders. I would go to Sam's Club. I would get my $75, $100, and you do one of those in a day and you're good, right? So it was great. And that continued on into probably early to mid 2022. Now, something happened in 2022 that completely shifted the paradigm for drivers at Instacart. And I'm going to tell you exactly what happened. So in 2022, the light bulbs came on at Instacart. Instacart began to realize, okay, we have a lot of customers whose orders are just sort of stagnated, right? These orders are sitting here. No one wants to play with them. They're the last ones to get chosen when we're picking teams. No one is picking these particular orders. And we don't like for these orders to get left out. So what Instacart began to do is they began to attach orders and created what they call the batch system, right? So those single orders that I was talking about just a few minutes ago, those orders went away. Well, they didn't go away. They basically became supplemental orders, right? So these poor orders, these booty orders that no one wanted to touch, that were 25 miles, paying $10 for 10 cases of water on the third floor. Instacart drivers had gotten hip to that and they weren't accepting those orders. And so Instacart didn't want to lose those customers. So what they began to do was attach them to those great orders, those $7,500 orders that I was just telling you guys about. They began attaching those terrible orders to the really good orders. And so you as a contractor working on the Instacart platform, you would see the batch and the batch would be paying $85, $90, $100, what have you. But you didn't know who was paying what, right? And you never know until the order is completed. So you accept this order and now you go into Instacart. And I've shopped double pallet orders where I've had to have two pallets, right? Because one pallet is full of water, one pallet is full of cereals and chips and, all sorts of things. And these are some really big orders. So you go, you shop, you check out, you push everything out to your cart, and then you find one order is maybe 3 miles away from the store. And the majority of the items, or a large portion of items, are dropped off there. And then you go and you get to the second delivery and you see that all 16 cases of water are going to this third floor apartment. And so you get there, you take a deep breath, you look at that third floor and you say, is today the day I'm going to quit Instacart? Is today it for me? Because this is ridiculous, right? Because you will definitely have those moments on Instacart where you're just like, you know what? I'm not doing this. And then eventually something will kick in and you'll just say, okay, let me just go ahead and get it over with. So you'll be sitting there at this customer's location, and then you'll just get out and you'll start dragging these cases of water up to the third floor. You get to the third floor, you drop them off, you're drenched because it's the middle of July, and you're just grateful for the fact that you haven't died trying to deliver this, had a heat stroke as a result of this. You deliver the orders, and then you go and you open up the app and you look at the way the tips were allocated, and you realize that the customer who required the least amount of work is the customer who tipped you the most. And this customer that you just walked up 3 flights of stairs in the middle of a Texas summer when temperatures are 100 degrees to deliver 16 cases of water tipped you $5. And now you're feeling bamboozled, right? And so now you're thinking to yourself, I don't think I want to do this anymore. But you continue, you just learn to accept this is the new norm, and then fast forward to 2023. So Instacart decides to make another shift in the platform. So now they want to take a page from Walmart and Amazon. You know, Amazon has the subscription service as well as Walmart. And so Instacart decides, maybe a subscription service is what we need. So they start offering customers a $9.99 a month subscription service where you can get unlimited deliveries for $9.99. Now, this becomes a life hack if you live on the third floor. What? $9.99? Sign me up. So customers begin to sign up for this, right? Now, at this time, customers who live in some of the most rural places also begin to sign up because now you're seeing orders that are 33 miles, 37 miles, 50 miles away from where you live. Why am I seeing that, like, this is no longer an order, okay, at this point? This is a day trip, right? We're taking a road trip to this person's house, 50 miles away, 70 miles away. I'm not doing those orders. So this was when I really started to pull away from the Instacart platform because I said to myself, I'm not going to kill myself doing this. And the orders have gotten progressively worse. Now, on average, what I'm seeing on Instacart, typically you're seeing triple batches for the majority of the orders. Most batches are upwards of 50 to 60 items. In addition to that, the distance is typically about maybe 30 miles on average. Now, if you've never done Instacart, that order is going to probably take you 2 to 3 hours to do. To shop for the order, to communicate with the customers, to get to the store, to check out 3 times, to bag up the orders 3 times, to scan all of the receipts for the orders, to load them up in your car, to drive to each location. And that's not even mentioning that when you're in the store, you have to hope that all the items are there. Then you have to get around people because it's, the middle of the day and the store is jam-packed. And so now you're trying to find cucumbers and you're having to make sure that you choose a cucumber that is fresh and not bruised because if, God forbid, you do, the customer's going to lose their mind. Then you have to wait for people who are standing in front of the weighing machines to weigh the produce, go to the checkout line, have people behind you in the checkout line beaming, just steaming, angry at you because you unselfish woman, in the middle of all of this madness, you want to check out 3 separate transactions when you could have just done it as one because they don't understand why you're checking out 3 times because you have 3 different customers. It's a lot of work to do Instacart. A lot of work. And so at that point when I realized 3 batches, 3 customers, and one thing I forgot to mention is that let's say something is not available, that $30 that you were planning on making can drop really quick every time an item is not available because if you get one of those customers who does not want replacement, because every time you issue a replacement or refund, that customer or that order amount is diminishing. So anyhow, you get through the order, you make your deliveries, and you once again see that the customer who lived 35 miles away from the store tipped you $3. $3. Right? Now, some of these customers, who are tipping this, they probably can't afford more. And this is going to sound a little insensitive, but it's not my struggle. I'm not driving 30 miles for $3. I'm not going to do that knowingly. So I don't accept those orders on Instacart. So at this point, the application is on my phone, but it is pretty much dormant because I refuse to do these orders. It's beneath me at that point because those orders, 3 miles, 30 plus 3 customers, 30 plus miles, upwards of 50 items, we're talking 2.5 to 3 hours worth of work. If you divide that, you're probably making less than $10 an hour. And that's not even what you're netting. That's the gross. When you start to deduct all of your fees and incidentals, the amount of gas that you've spent, you're hustling backwards. At this point, you're better off going to McDonald's. So I'm going to tell you guys, in 2024, no, Instacart is not worth it. And if you read the article at the beginning of this video, then you'll probably know that no gigs are worth it at this point. You're better off doing something like Coursera, which I did recently to up your skill set. I recently took a digital management course or digital marketing course on social media content creation. It was a 6-month course. I was able to complete it in a month and a half, and that's with me having other things to do. So do something like that. Give yourself a leg up in the corporate industry so that you're not tied to having to do Instacart because it's not worth it. Go do something else. The time to gig has come and it has gone. You're better off getting a job. And I know you're going to hate to lose your schedule freedom, but do you really have freedom if you can't afford to be free?